Good morning, fellow gardeners. We're up here in one of the greenhouses this morning where we're growing tomatoes, and we thought we'd bring you a little update. It's been a little while since we put one on, but these tomatoes we put in 5 weeks ago on a Sunday afternoon whenever we was having our tours up here. We brought some kiddos from 4 to 11 years of age, and we let each one of them plant one of these tomato plants in here in this row so that they could come back in a month or so and pick the tomatoes off the plant that they planted, trying to encourage them to get into gardening and raising their own food, flowers, and so forth like that. We'll start off by telling you we're raising these in those tubs, those self-wicking tubs that we show everybody how to build. And we've got the wicking system in the bottom. We put the potting soil in there halfway up. Then we put our fertilizers. And some of you wanted to know again what we use on the fertilizers. We use a Sustain 464, which is chicken feathers and turkey poop composted. We use a half a cup of that halfway down in the barrel in the soil. Where we put the tomato plant in the middle, we try to put that fertilizer around the outside, inside here, right around the edge, about halfway down. Then we put a fourth of a cup of sea mineral, which is evaporated ocean water. It's been evaporated into a dry, salt-looking material. It's got 90-something different trace minerals in it. And we put a fourth of a cup of that in there. We'll throw about 2 tablespoons of lime. We'll throw about 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt. And we'll also throw about 2 tablespoons of gypsum in there. And then we go ahead and cover it up with the potting soil up to the top. Now, if you'll notice, we use a ground cover on top of the buckets to keep the weeds from growing, because you know the most intensive labor on gardening is weeding and watering and picking. Well, if I can eliminate the weeding problem, that saves me a lot of time, because we're busy people, all of us are. And if I can save the watering, cut down on the watering, then I don't have to water as often. And if I'm holding 3 to 5 inches of water in the bottom of that bucket, then I only have to water about once a week, so that makes me some more time. And then, of course, the picking, that's not really a work. We count that enjoyment, so we don't mind doing the picking of the tomatoes or cucumbers and things like that. So anyway, we're going to eliminate that weeding by putting that ground cover over the top of these buckets. Now, out in the wind, to hold that on, we would take a staple gun and staple that to the edge of that rim of that bucket on both sides, or all the way around if you're just using individual buckets. We've got probably, there's 50 to 60 buckets in a row here from one end of this house to the other. It's 96 foot long. And so we put a row of ground cover all the way down it, stop in the middle, make us a crosswalk, and then go on down the rest of the way. Anyway, we planted these 5 weeks ago this last Sunday on our tours in this row right here. We let the kiddos plant these tomato plants 5 weeks ago. They were a little plant about 5 inches tall. A little bit short to what we usually like to put out, but it was a warm day and I wanted the kids to get an opportunity to plant, so we planted them. And then we took and put some 1/2 inch PVC, and we took a hot air gun, or no, we took my wife's hair dryer is what we actually did, and we heated, as we held this pipe in a half circle sort of, we took and heated the inside of that, the side closest to me where I held it together, and kind of heated that and made it kind of warp a little so we could make us a little covering over these tomato plants. Remember now, they're only about this tall. And then we put plastic over that. The following Saturday night, after, that'd be 6 days after they were planted, it got down to 12 degrees here. So we come in here and we put plastic over this row to protect those plants. And we will talk a little about it. You've heard me in previous videos that every layer of plastic you can have above these plants is worth about 8 degrees. Now, that could be give or take a little bit according to the wind, where you're located and so forth like that. We're in a high tunnel now, so we have one layer above our heads. We put one layer over this pipe, and that's going to make us 8 and 8, 16 degrees warmer where this plant is than it is outside. Well, it got down to 12 degrees, and if you add 16 degrees to 12, you get up to 28. You can say, Leon, you're in problems. You're still in freezing. And yes, we came in here after we planted these on a Sunday. That following Thursday, we planted these other 4 rows. And we came in here then that next Saturday night, or we did it on Friday, before Saturday night, because we knew it was coming in and we didn't work on Saturday. So we covered these on Friday afternoon, had them all ready, tucked in, closed the doors. I come up here on Sunday and these 4 rows had frozen. But guess what? This half a row that down the middle, there's not a tomato plant that was touched that night. It did not kill those. A miracle happened right here, whether you know it or not, because it killed my 4 rows, and the kiddos' plants, they stayed alive. So we thank God for that. So this is what they look like now, 5 Sundays plus 3 days past that. So that's 35 and 3, 38 days from the time we put these in the ground. This is what this plant looks like. It's got tomatoes and blooms all down in there. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can see 10 clusters of tomatoes, and there's anywhere from 5 to 8 in each cluster. So it's already got a lot of tomatoes setting and getting set on there. We got to make sure they get pollinated. You know, bees will come in and help pollinate. Wind will shake these, or you can come in here and shake these by hand and help pollinate these tomatoes. Now this shaking you're doing, you don't do it till about 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because of the morning when the humidity is, you know, high. These plants will not put off their pollen. It has to be dry on a sunny day, and then they will put it off somewhere between 1 and 2:30. They will put their pollen off to where you can shake these plants. That pollen is in that stamen right at the end of that bloom, and that's what you got to get on the inside of that bloom. You get it all the way around there, then it'll make a smooth tomato. If you only get it on places around that tomato, it'll be a rough looking tomato. Anyway, this is where we're at now, 38 days later, I guess, after we planted these. And it'll probably be another 30 to 45 days we'll be picking tomatoes off of these, or the kiddos will. Okay, we've brought you back up to this tomato house where we let the kids plant these tomatoes. It was 9 weeks ago this last Sunday that they planted these. We let the kiddos plant 1 plant per each, and they're coming back in about a month and start picking tomatoes off of their plant that they planted. We went here a week ago today, we went here and took a video of there was just 1 or 2 little tomatoes down here, not very big. And now look, this thing is loaded with tomatoes, and it's loaded with blooms. And this is how much it's grown now in the extra week. It's doubled its size in this last week. But this is what all of that 1470-48 will do for you. I know a lot of people tell you, oh, it's too much phosphorus, too much potash. But look at this. This is what it does. And it is too much if you don't want these tomatoes like this. But if you want to make tomatoes like this, you put that on and you will see this kind of a growth. I hope you liked this little video we made for you today in the tomato house. If you did, hit the like button, ring the bell, not the dinner bell, just ring that bell, and then go subscribe. We're going to put you on some more videos. Thank you for watching.